Hey y'all, it's y'all favorite cozy girl, Cheetah Reality Queen, and I am back again with another episode of Robe Chronicles. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 8, Episode 13. So, we've been on a little hiatus because of the Super Bowl last Sunday. Um, just so y'all know, y'all was not loving my last video like that. So, I'm going to recommend that you guys go back and watch that before you finish this one. Okay, or after. I'm okay. Just watch it. Okay. Anyways, this episode starts out with G and Mia talking, and she's like, "Oh, Ashley's coming over. We're gonna have a little conversation, or whatever." And then they're kind of going back and forth, and she tells G about how she called, Karen an old dog, and she was like, "Oh, well, Karen called me a trick," and G was like, "Well, why she call you a trick? Why did she call you a trick, Mia? Are you gonna tell him? Because he was there every time that she was with that other man, supposedly." Then she talks in her little confessional that, oh, she's not gonna tell G that. Exactly. Exactly. I said it. I said it in my video. G was not there. Mia is just a liar. And Mia has been lying so long, for so long. Like, that lady been lying all her life. All of it, the entirety of her life. That it just comes out. She don't even know when she said. She just be lying. And I'll be honest, I kind of find it to be funny. But like, everybody was like, "Oh, she burned Karen because he already know." That man did not know. That man's gonna find out when he watches it. He found out on that episode. Like, they're just not together anymore. So that's the only thing. That's the reason why it don't matter. But he did not know a moment before Karen Huger exposed it. Um, but anyways, Ashley comes over, and apparently Mia now lives in the same apartment that, or high rise apartment that, you know, Ashley used to live in with Michael, and except Ashley was on the top floor in the penthouse and Mia's on a lower floor. But I assume it still has to be pretty expensive. It can't be that cheap. Yeah, so I'm like, oh, okay. Mia's not doing great, but she doing good for herself still, kind of, hopefully. um, but then they get to talking, and Mia tells her, like, G does not think that you guys are getting a divorce, and what's going on and this and that. And she just opens up about being poor growing up and like being evicted and still being homeless regardless of like family trying to help her and her mom. And I'm like, it's a sad story, and I feel for Ashley's childhood. But I feel like for someone to come from such humble beginnings, it's so weird that you're so nasty to other people about their relationships with their mother, i.e., Candace and her mom, and like her mom being able to provide to her. Like, baby, if you're just jealous, say that, right? Like, it's giving jealous. That's what it is. And that's okay. I get it. I have told many people, people that know me know that I fully believe that jealousy is an okay emotion to exhibit as long as you know that that is what you're feeling and you can acknowledge it. Like, okay, I'm feeling jealous because, it keeps you from getting nasty, right? It keeps you from being mean. But if you're jealous of something, like I've seen people like, oh my God, I'm so jealous they have that or can do that, like, or whatever. It's okay. I don't think it's a bad emotion, and I don't blame Ashley for feeling jealous. But to have said some of the things that she has said in the past, like Candace is the least accomplished woman on the couch, and whatever she said, oh, your mama bought this or your mom bought that. And it's like, girl, you have nothing without Schmiegel. Nothing, like literally nothing. And her fear is that she's going to wake up one day and she won't be able to afford the mortgage. But it's like, at this point, that's a you problem. You had a man who had everything, and you should have prepared better for the end because it was coming. I don't know why you didn't think it was coming. Maybe you thought because you didn't sign a prenup or whatever, or like the prenup that you signed was more so like benefiting him and all this stuff that he would stay with you forever or whatever. I don't know what she thought, but she didn't think it through. And I mean, at this point, I just feel like she has no one to blame but herself. Like you have been on a television show that has done fairly well for 8 seasons, and you haven't secured yourself a little position to make sure that that doesn't happen. Like that's the problem with people not being smart, right? Like that's the problem right there. Like she doesn't have sense in her head. Like Ashley's cool, but she don't have sense. Because if she had sense, she would have been like, huh, if anything happens, how am I going to make sure I'm good? And I mean, I know her assumption is like, I'm cute. Maybe someone else will marry me, which is very likely. Like, she is cute and someone else probably will marry her. But it's like, why risk it? Why put yourself in that position to once again be dependent on someone else? I don't get it, but whatever. Anyways, they talk about how Robin invited everybody to the Dominican Republic and they do a little flashback. And I'm like, the group trip is about to be important. Why wouldn't the producers at least edit that in? Like, I didn't care. I mean, I'm not saying I didn't care about NECA's event, but like, that was an important thing to mention or show, or, you know, that that invite went out. Um, but it was whatever. And then Karen asked, like, oh, Wendy's not here. Does that mean she's not invited or she is invited? And, you know, Robin's like, everybody's invited. I don't know why people make a big deal over these invites to group trips because it's just that, a group trip. It's a group trip. Everybody's supposed to be there. Like, that's so weird to me. Like, why are you guys like, oh, well, Robin invited her to this and that? It's a show in which they have to interact, or they're supposed to. They can try as much as they don't want to. Like, you know, Giselle and Robin, they try not to talk to Wendy or Candace and this and that, but they don't have any say over who goes on these group trips. So it's not an applaud to her. And it's not an applaud to Wendy, even for inviting all of them to Eddie's event. Like, these are probably things that are in the contract, like everybody has to go. So it's not really something we should be applauding them for. But anyways, then Mia said her and Jackie are giving it another go, like they haven't spoken, but you know, she wants to get with her and, you know, figure it out. And I actually really like Jacqueline, Mia's friend. I mean, I also like Mia, so I kind of am like, they're similar probably, and they've known each other since they were teens. So I hope, I mean, we know that they fixed it, but I think it's better that they're not on the show together, because I think there's that element of competition that happened with Mia. This is me personally. I don't know what really happened, but I feel like Mia was like, I don't want, like, this is my friend and I'm bringing her here, but I don't want her to outshine me. And the minute she felt like there was a little bit of shine on baby girl, she was like, cut the shit. And then she started being really nasty to her friend. And I know she mentioned the thing about Jacqueline's um, ex boyfriend and what he did to her, which absolutely sucks. And I understand it. But I do feel a lot of the animosity comes from just her not wanting to share her shine with someone else that she's so close to. Then Mecca and Wendy meet to resolve their problem or what have you. Um, I'm so tired of this situation. I really am. I really, really am. And so they're talking, and NECA wants to kind of go through the backstory. And Wendy's like, I don't care for the backstory. You called my mom a witch based off of hearsay. My mom did not call you a witch to you. You have never spoken to my mother. You have never met my mother, but you called her a witch. And then you called me a B word. But Wendy's not even concerned about that. She's just upset at the allegation of being called a witch. I have been Nigerian all my life, and that is a big deal. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people don't get it. They're like, boop, to boop, to boop. And that's cultural nuance for you, right? Like, you don't understand what you don't understand, and that's okay. But calling a Nigerian mama a witch, it's worse than anything else, really. Like, I can't even think of a thing that is like that's comparison, because the way Nigerians look at witchcraft and juju and things like that, like, you're kind of like, oh, you know? So that type of energy, like talking about submitting somebody's names to shrine, it's a big deal. And I feel like people on Twitter, because they don't understand that, are like, oh, Wendy is drama. She's this, she's that. Just move on. And although I believe, because they're both on television, for the sake of the show, they should move on. If that was in real life, when Cardi said we gonna have beef forever and everybody fell in love with her, the world was like, yes, keep that hatred in your heart. Don't ever forgive people who cross you. You know what I mean? Like, we love that spirit. And that's the spirit that I feel a lot more people need to have for their mamas. Okay. So I think Wendy is in the right in personal and real life, but I think for the sake of the show, I can see the give and take, right? But I just think that NECA was kind of coming at this very like casually. Like, even when Wendy was like, but you haven't apologized. So she apologized and she goes, I'm sorry for calling your mother the name of a witch. Now, I don't know if you guys paid attention to that apology, but it wasn't good. She didn't say, I am sorry for the hurt I may have caused your family by calling your mom a witch. I think that apology would have been more accepted. But the apology that she gave was, I think your mom is a witch, but I'm sorry for calling it by name. Like, you don't want peace. So when she was saying that, she meant it. Like, you don't want peace, girl. Like, if you wanted peace, your apology, you would have come in and said, look, girl, I'm sorry. I didn't know the effects it was having on your family. I didn't know how damaging it was going to be with me saying that. So, you know what? I am so sorry for any harm I may have caused to your family by calling your mother a witch. That would have been perfect. But that's not what she said. And so Wendy walked out. I mean, but she did. But before she walked out, and I think that's what people miss. A lot of people been talking about, oh, Wendy this, Wendy that, Wendy this. But Wendy said we could be cordial, we could coexist, and we can stay in the same space. Like, to me, that's more than what the Green Eyed Bandits have given. They are not cordial. They don't want to coexist in spaces with Wendy and Candace. They try to ice them out intentionally. It's weird. Like, it's very weird. Um, Then we see Candace and Chris, and she's showing him a bag that she bought at Dior. And it's funny because we saw the girls go shopping for some outfits for the Dominican Republic. I think, wait, was that later? I don't know when that happened. I'm messing up my timeline. But it's like, I want to see Candace shopping at Dior. That's a classy girl, right? Like, that's the expensive, lavish stuff that we want to see. But if she went with her mom, maybe it's like, oh, it's not drama. I don't know. I don't know. But I want to see them at Dior with champagne glasses shopping. Like, when they showed NECA furniture shopping and they gave her champagne and all that, she was with her sister. That was a good scene because it's expensive, right? Potomac hasn't been expensive in a minute. And they just keep trying to bring it down. But now he's complaining to her, like, you always complain about me working so much and you not seeing me, but now we're in the reverse situation and you're working all the time and we're not seeing, each other and blah blah blah. And so she's like, okay, she understands. I think the thing about Candace is spoiled. I think she's a spoiled child. And I think that Chris indulges it because that's his wife. He loves her, you know? And so Candace can kind of get away with a lot. You know, she got away with it with her mother. Now she's getting away with it with her husband. And although I like Candace, I think it's important to know that dynamic, you know? So I don't know. I love them together. I really do. I think they're a very solid couple, but it's, you know, the dynamic is interesting. But he talks about, you know, wanting to spend more time with her and about IVF and all of that. And I think, and I could be wrong here, but I think I'm sure Candace wants children, and I feel like she probably is excited for that process. But if your career is just taking off, having to take 9 months down to carry a baby or 10 months down to carry a baby and then take care of it, right? Because then you got to do that. It's a little difficult, you know? Like, I think she probably has like a double mind where she's like, okay, I want to have this kid, but I also want to like, my career is doing well. I'm on tour. I'm get booking shows. I actually, over the holidays, watched a holiday movie with her in it. And I'm like, she's really doing the thing. Like she's doing what she needs to do. And unfortunately, not to say kids should stop you, but there is a 10-month span in which maybe you can't do as much because you should be getting regular checkups, right? So I don't know. I wish them the best on that journey, and I love hearing about it. So I do wish that they show that more. She also brings up the lump that they found in her breast. I didn't know her family had a history of breast cancer, so that's kind of sad. Um, but luckily, they say it's a lymph node, like, you know, rather than anything cancerous. But she's just so worried about it. And I get that. Like, if I had a history of breast cancer and I find like a lump, I'm like, no, we gotta. I don't know what we got to do, but it's got to be gone. You know what I mean? So I get her fear and, you know, kind of how she feels. So it's kind of sad, but like I said, these kind of things that happen to these women is like that's kind of the more real side of like it doesn't really matter how much money you have, anything can happen to anybody, right? So I kind of, you know, I hate that it's an illness, but I think that this makes them more real. Um, then we go to Giselle. She's with her girls. Grace is graduating. And I say this every time I see Giselle with her girls, but they are the best part of her. Like, so amazing. Like so amazing seeing her with her girls. It's like lovely, lovely, lovely. I like Giselle when I see her with her daughters. One, because they don't let her BS. I think that's probably why we all feel this strong emotion when her daughters are there. Because when she says something that's BS, her daughters are there to be like, and they be making faces and they be like, okay, mom. Like, and I think that kind of cuts her down a little bit, like not in a bad way, but you know, the way any teenage kid is gonna cut their mama down, you know? And even the flashbacks of them making cookies and doing all this stuff, it just shows how much they've grown. And like, yeah, the show's been on quite some time because they were what, 10, 9, 10. And so it's kind of cool to see. And, you know, I think it's just really cool that her daughter is graduating and heading off to college. And, you know, it's a milestone. Um, and then they show Giselle's like homemade videos because obviously I feel like obviously they didn't let the cameras in for the graduation or the graduation dinner. And I loved it. I love Giselle's parents. I think Giselle has so many good things around her. So it's so crazy that her spirit sometimes is just so mean spirited. It's like really crazy to me that that happens. And I don't know if it's Jamal, if that like broke her down being a first lady and then not. But like her parents seem awesome. They seem like very supportive, very loving. And, you know, her father was like such an institution back in the day. Like, you know, so it's crazy to me that she has the spirit that she does when it comes, well, it might be Jamal now that I'm thinking because it's to other women, right? The way she behaves is how she treats other women. And she probably ever since the issues with her ex-husband, sees them all, no matter what, as a threat. Candace coming in being young and beautiful. I don't know who her husband cheated on her with, right? I'm sure people in Maryland know, but I don't know who, right? So maybe they looked like Candace. Maybe they looked like Wendy. Maybe they looked like Monique, right? Maybe they had the look of these women that she dislikes, and it's just something she can't get over. I don't know. Um, then NECA, Robin, and Mia meet up to go shopping. Yeah, this is when they went shopping. I'm like, I don't care to see them shopping. Like, y'all ain't buying nice stuff. Like, what? But this is what happened while they were shopping that really threw me for a loop. And y'all tell me if this didn't catch anybody else off guard. But they ask Mia, I think Ashley asked her, like, oh, are you and Karen good? And she was like, oh, we're good. Like, it's no big deal. She's like, but then she says, oh, Karen, she always decides to act out when certain people are around, like when Wendy's there. Excuse me? You're trying to tell me Wendy controls the Grand Dame? Like, let's not play. Don't do that. And I feel like this concerted effort to like ice out Wendy and Candace and like get rid of them by trying to make up narratives is just nasty. I'm like, Mia, that's not even you. Like, you are literally doing the bidding of these women who don't rate you. Like, they don't care about you. They want you to do their bidding. That is who Giselle and Robin are. And here you are doing their bidding by saying something like that, by even implying that the only reason that Karen treats you bad is because Wendy is there. Wendy didn't even say a word while y'all was going back and forth. So why would she need to impress Wendy? Who is Wendy? Like, Wendy is that girl, but who is Wendy? Like, what do you mean? Like, I just think that is so weird. I don't like them trying to do Giselle's bidding. Like, it's a very weird thing. And then NECA tells him, well, oh, I apologized to Wendy and she didn't take it. And they're all like, oh, she wants to hold a grudge and blah, blah, blah. You didn't apologize. Okay, take that back. You did apologize to Wendy, but it was forced and it didn't seem genuine. It wasn't a good apology. You should have told them, this is what I said. I mean, they probably would have sided with you anyway, but you should have been like, this is exactly what I said, and had them see if they still believed in that apology. Like, don't do that. Um, anyways, the girls travel to the DR. This is Robin's trip. I don't know the last time Robin hosted a trip. I'm trying to think. Hmm. But anyways, this is Robin's trip, and she's saying that they're staying in a villa. Kiarna was invited. I don't know if it's Kiana and there's just an R in it, or if it's actually Kiarna. If anybody knows, please let me know. But yeah, she's invited to. I love how they do like one or two friends of, but I think because this trip already there's 8 women, so they only did one friend of, because last time they did both Sharice and Jackie, or Jacqueline, but they already have 8 women, so no need to do too many friends of. But Kiana is there, and she is cute. I like her. I think she's really interesting. Karen, while they're in the Sprinter van, tells a story about how 27 years ago, apparently Ray always goes to the Dominican Republic and he stays at that villa that they're about to go stay at. And she was like, yeah, and I called Ray, being a good wife, and a woman answered. I was like, they did this little reenactment. She was like, hello. I don't know where she got that voice from, but yes, basically she said Ray told her that it was the cleaning staff, but she don't believe it. But whatever, they're still married, and 27 years later, right? They're still good. And it's funny because here comes Robin talking and Giselle talking like, I mean, as wives of cheaters or ex-wives of cheaters, they would know best. They would know best that a man is lying. So I'm gonna just be quiet. And it's funny because I think Kiana also says that her husband goes there to golf. So it's like a really big resort. And I actually know people who have gone there to golf. So maybe they're golfing and enjoying at the same time. But I know there's a really nice golf course over there. I've been not to the golf course, but I've been to the DR and I saw the golf course. It's beautiful. So I mean, for people who are golf enthusiasts, maybe it's just a, you know, place they need to go and see and experience every year. Who knows? I don't know. Um, Anyways, they get off, they get to the villas. Wendy makes a toast. Like, and this is a funny thing because I feel like whenever Wendy talks, people, Giselle and Robin, they be rolling their eyes, and it's like, she's actually trying to keep the energy up. Like, y'all trying to be negative and nasty, but she's trying to keep the energy up, and y'all are not like, come on, just take it. It is what it is. And she's making her thing, saying it's no drama, this and that. And here comes NECA talking about, well, no drama involving you. Baby, I thought you apologized. I thought you want peace. Why are you still talking? Why are you still talking? NECA, shut up. Okay? Shut up. I feel like, and the thing is, you could tell it's a validation thing because she always looks so awkward, like at who she's talking to, like Robin or Giselle, when she's trying to make those little snide comments, like, look at me. I'm about to make fun of Wendy. Everybody, ha ha, he. Like, girl, it's tired. No one cares. Cause even Robin just like looked at her like, not saying that they can't have beef, not saying that whatever, but you don't have good reads. So when you say it, they're not funny. Like even thumbs downing Wendy to Mia. Like Mia's a girl's girl. So if you look good, she could hate you, but she gonna acknowledge that you look good. So it's always just falls so flat with NECA. And I know she has her fan base and they try to defend her. Maybe she pays them to defend her. That's what it feel like. Because no one was on her side, and all of a sudden people are like, NECA is not that. She's so cute. And they posting these pictures of her talking about she looks so good here, her and her man. And it's like, okay, if you say so. But anyway, after the toast, Kiana goes running to the bathroom. Apparently, she says she has ulcers or something, and she had some champagne and it started acting up. But production was trying to put little like fart sounds over it. And honestly, I think that's what it was. I think she just had to dookie. Like I think she maybe ate something bad on the plane or something, and her stomach was upset because girl, no. I don't believe it. The way she ran was like somebody who needed to use the bathroom. That was that run. That tight cheek run. Like everybody knows that run of someone who needs to use the bathroom immediately. Um, but yeah, so anyway, Robin is talking about the room situation and she's talking about how the rooms are set up. And she's like, oh, Karen, you're going to have to share. There's 4 double rooms, there's 4 single rooms, and there's 9 people. Now, I'm not the smartest person, but 4 double rooms, that's 4. 4 single rooms, that's another 4. That's 8. And if there's 8 rooms and 9 people, wouldn't only one set of people have to share? So only 2 people, 7 people would get their own room. So why are we? I didn't even understand that. And she was like, me and Giselle always have to share and blah, 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 and whoop, whoop, whoop. And she was like, I don't want to share. I want my own room with a view and this and that. You know, Karen, she's standing on it. She's mad. She's, making a scene kind of. Um, and Ashley was like, well, how are you going to do it? How are you going to get your own room? And she's like, it's called Benjamins. Like, baby, Benjamins. Okay. Like, talk that money talk, baby. Like, it's so funny to me because she was really acting like Karen doesn't have the money to do it. And maybe she doesn't. Shit, I don't know. I assume Karen has money. Ray has a very high net worth. I think they are the wealthiest couple on the show. So I don't know why that she wouldn't be able to get her own room. Maybe because Ashley can't afford it. She don't understand how someone else can afford it. But it was just weird to me. But anyways, now Robin's getting upset because she feels like, Karen's being a problem. And Karen, when she starts talking down to Robin, it's always so funny. Shut up, Robin. It's like a child. Like you're literally telling a child to shut up. Like that's how it always comes off. Like Robin is a whiny kid and Karen is like dismissing her. It is always so funny, but they're like going back and forth, and Candace and Wendy are like, wait, what's going on? Like y'all still beefing? Like only two people have to share. Like what is going on? You could tell that they was like, well, let's go to our room and call it a day. Like it's not a big deal. Um, and it's funny because they were like, Kiana, you go to your own room. And so it's funny because I think, and I hope it's not what I thought it was. Maybe it's just like an edit. But like Kiana had come up to Candace and Wendy and she's like, oh, are you sharing? And they're like, no. And they were like, just go to your room. Like, and I feel like it was almost dismissive. Like maybe they were mad at Kiana. I'm not quite sure. I hope not because I like her. Um, because she looked so good in her little confessional look. I was like, baby, 8 down. Like she looked really, really good. So I hope it was just like an edit thing, not really them being rude to Kiana. But then Kiana goes to her room and Giselle comes in to check on her. And she's like, oh, Cal knows Kiana because Kiana used to be a hairdresser or owns her own salon or whatever. And, they know each other. So I know her through that. And I'm just like, okay, that's weird. Like, not weird, but I'm like, why have Wendy introduce her when everybody seems to know this girl? Giselle knows her. Robin knows her. Like, everybody's friends with Kiana. Why y'all acting like she was like Wendy's friend exclusively? But it was a little shade because Kiana's like, oh, thank you for coming to check in. You're the only person that's come to check in on me. And I'm like, dang, Wendy, Candace, y'all couldn't check in on your girl. That's fucked up. That's effed up. Because yeah, y'all should have checked in on her. I don't know what happened. It seemed like there was like a little mood switch, but shout out to Giselle. I don't give Giselle enough props, but shout out to Giselle for being a good friend in that scene and checking in on Kiana and just making sure she was okay. Because I would have checked in if I seen it because I would have assumed that she either needed to poop or needed to barf. So I would have like been like, hey, are you good? Like, you need something, Imodium, girl, what's going on? But just to get her, so shout out to Giselle. Look at me. I know a lot of people probably think I don't like Giselle, but I have no problem with her. And shout out to her for being a really, really good friend in that situation because, no one else checked in on her and made sure she was okay. I mean, luckily it wasn't a Meredith situation where she's in bed getting IV and getting glam, but, Kiana toughed it out and came back. um, but then they go outside and Giselle's talking to Robin and I think Ashley and Mia, and she's talking about how like, oh, we should crown Neka as the new Grand Dame because she's a new girl and I like her and this and that and whoop whoop and we should accept her and we should do this. Prior to this happening, I forgot to say, Karen ended up not getting her room with the view, but Ashley gave in and did give her the solo room, and she decided she would share with Mia. So that was nice of her. Um, it's only fair. I guess Ashley hosted the other trip, and Ashley has also never shared a room. So I guess it's fair, right? That they do that. Um, but then, yeah, so going back, Giselle's talking to them. She's like, oh, we should crown her. I bought a crown and a sash. And I'm like, why would you do that? I guess this is supposed to be the fun lightweight shade that they talk about. I don't know if this is it. It just seemed corny to me. Yeah, it just seemed corny. Like, she's like, why? Why? As she said, I gave her the title Grand Dame and I can take it back and give it to whoever I want. Like, Giselle, why are you so bothered? Like, because here's the thing, on the internet, people are complaining about Karen being so bothered about her giving the title and all these people being so bothered. But why is Giselle so bothered that she feels that she has to take the title back. This is not the first time that she's done this. She did it last season with Charisse. So who is really pressed? She has been doing everything she can to remove this title from Karen. Why? That's the weird part. Like, it it's weird. It's weird. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. Like, you're saying Candace is pressed, Karen is pressed. No, Giselle is pressed because this is the second time that she has tried to remove this title or bestow it on another person. It's very weird. It's giving, I'm jealous. And like I said, jealousy can be fine unless you make it or allow it to make you a nasty person. And unfortunately, it has led her to be a nasty person. So anyway, they go and I guess they're getting ready to go do something. I think play golf or get dinner. I'm not actually sure what they're doing. And Giselle's like, "Oh, I have a ceremony to do, or we have a ceremony." And then she goes and she crowns NECA as the Grand Dame of Potomac 20854. Hopefully that's the zip code. Um, and it's just such a weird situation where like Ashley's laughing and joking, Robin's standing there like a doofus, like looking awkward as heck. Um, and everybody else is just looking awkward too. Like, wait, what's going on? And Candace, mic'd up, of course, is like, this is stupid. As she leaves, and in her confessional, she basically calls Giselle an imp. And she's like, she just only finds joy in trying to bring other people down. And low key, there's a little truth to that. Not 100%, but a little truth to that. And it's Karen specifically. I know they're cool. I know whatever they go home, they're cool. But it is weird that she always feels the need to try and peg Karen down. I don't get it. I mean, I think she doesn't like people in happy marriages. I think that's her problem because I've noticed the people she keeps around her are people that are in unhappy marriages. I just think everybody should peep that. Peep that. The people she keeps closest to her, the people she likes, the people she does not beef with, are all either in unhappy relationships, getting a divorce, separated, something. So NECA should be careful, if you ask me. But that's how the episode ends. I'm so excited to see the next episode. Like I said before, go back and check my previous recap review from episode 12. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video everywhere and with everyone you know. Whether you like my opinion or don't like my opinion, that's okay, but share it, right? Let everybody know what you think. Comment. If you disagree, I'm okay with that. I actually don't mind people disagreeing with me. I'm okay with that. I might call you dumb and say you don't know what you're talking about, but I don't mind it ultimately. I think we all get a little defensive about our opinions. But, anyways, I will see you guys next time. Have a wonderful night. Bye.